Day 2, still at Ennerdale Water, as you can see. Epic view this morning. We're just disassembling the tent. The time is now currently 7:39. We had a nice early start. We're up at 6 this morning. Made a brew. You can see where there was frost on the ground from last night and on the tent. But the Neo Air ground mats that we've got and the sleeping bags we've got were excellent because I was actually too hot last night. I had to remove my balaclava, which is always nice. Ronnie's just taking his bits apart now. So today we're going to go round the water and through the valley, over the top, which is where Honister Slate Mine is, which is where we're going to get sustenance, and then down into Borrowdale. Today's route is 15 miles, but we've already eaten into 1.5 miles today because we came from Ennerdale Bridge to Ennerdale Water. So we've got what, 13 miles, Ronnie?
Yep.
13 miles. And we've got a wickedly early start as well, which is great. We've only seen one walker go past, which was an American lad that we saw yesterday at the pub, who seems to have ridiculously early starts for some reason and has no proper sleeping bag, according to him. So anyway, yep, updates to follow. Oh, sit rep, injuries. Ronnie, any injuries?
Painful feet.
Painful feet, Ronnie.
Aching shoulders.
Aching shoulders, Ronnie.
That's it.
That's about it. I've done some sort of ligament damage to my knee, which is not good because it's day 1. But I'm just going to keep walking it off and see what happens. We've got ibuprofen, etc. So, but nothing too bad. No real serious aches and pains. Yeah, doing well. Where are we?
Robin Hood chair.
Are you Robin Hood?
Maybe.
Get off his chair! This is Robin Hood's chair, we think. We're pretty much sure we are. We've just come up the side of not Wastwater, that's Garfield, of Ennerdale Water. So we're headed off in that direction. That's the scenery. Just over there and around the corner slightly is where we camped. So we're only half an hour into our walk.
How's the sun beating down?
The sun is warm today. It's not too bad. It's not really sun cream weather yet, is it?
Yeah.
But it was just worth getting the camera out for this panorama. Having reread this and seen the photos on the internet and read it in books, being here finally is quite inspiring. So down that way for about another 3 or 4 hours. We'll see where that takes us. Pack off break, 2 miles. We're about 2.5 miles into the journey. We've just come down Ennerdale Water, so this is us at the other side now of Ennerdale Water. We camped all the way down there and around the corner. Lake was a lot bigger than we thought actually. Now we're heading off down here into this plantation and we just follow the valley floor all the way until right near the end where we climb. We've got quite a steep climb at the end. There's Ronnie with his walking braces. So yeah, we're once we get over the hill at the far end, we go down into Honister Slate Mine, which has a visitor centre, which equals food and drink and all things nice. A bit of a rest, yeah, for get a bit of lunch. So we're still doing all right. So only 20 to 10, and we're what, just over probably a quarter of the way through, just shy of a quarter of the way through. So we're doing well.
Yeah. No sign of any other walkers.
There's no walkers, no. We've beat the rush. So we'll probably won't update now till we get to Honister, depending on if we see anything exciting. Blacksail Youth Hostel.
John,
11:52. Ronnie's got a leak in his. What is that?
that's the
Soup.
Yeah, no, the noodles.
Copper pasta noodle
Yeah.
thing. So we are 8, 9, 10, 11. About 4 hours into the walk. We're about 2/3 of the way through. That's Haystacks there. All the way over there, there's a little peak at the top there. That's Pillar. Just walk past that. And we're walking up there and over. And over the other side of that is Honister Slate Mine. What you can't smell at the minute, that we can, is those little cover things there, is some sort of cesspit. So it actually smells quite horrific.
A bit like the tent last night.
A bit like the tent last night, thanks to Ronnie. So yeah, Honister is the next stop. Hello people. Here we are, climbing Lofty Beck.
Hell.
Hell, yeah, it is the highest point of today's walk. we're heading up in that direction. As you can see, it was beautifully in blue. Now it's clouding over a little bit, and whether you can see on here or not, but it's actually starting to snow, which is nice. So still on the way to Honister Slate Mine. Got to get over this hump before we can get there, and then it's down to the mine where we can potentially get some sort of refreshments. Although we did get a brew from the youth hostel, from their kitchen. So it's slow going up here at the minute, especially with these rucksacks. But yes, so honestly, we climbed Becky. What was it? That wasn't Becky Falls. That's where Rachel liked the doctor. Anyway, we climbed the waterfall, and we're pretty much at the summit now. So I just thought I'd let you see the vista that we are presented with. That is the Lake District in a snapshot. And down there, in the distance, if we can zoom in slightly, that body of water is where we started, and we started at the other side of that. And if you look even further in the distance, you might even be able to see the sea. That's where we are so far. Hello! I forgot to do a video log when we got to Honister Slate Mine, but it wasn't, anything out of the ordinary. We managed to get a panini, tuna melt for me, brie and bacon for Ronnie, and then the walk down into Borrowdale. We tried to stay I need to tell you this. We tried to stay at the camp, the youth hostel, do camping. So we thought, oh, we'll see if we can camp. No camping. But you can have a pod for the night. What's a pod? £60, okay, for a shed. And when I say a shed, it's a shed. I couldn't. It's a shed with a carpet on the floor. You sleep on the floor. It's not even got a bed in it. £60 a night, 30 quid each. You get bed and breakfast for that. So we were like, to the youth hostel. Carried on into Stonethwaite. And we're basically now in a field. A farmer's field. Farmer let us camp in his field. It's a fiver. He's got wash hand basins here. Ronnie's now having a wash, so you might be able to see him. No, up there somewhere. That's where the toilets are. But we're basically in a field. Lovely scenery. Wind's starting to pick up now. Some sheep over there. They're our neighbours. There's nobody else here. It's just us. And over there, there's a white building. That's a pub. We're going to try and eat in there in a bit. It's now near coming up to 6 o'clock. We've been here about an hour. We just set the tent up, got washed, got changed. It was a tough day. I'll tell you now, because tomorrow we're not necessarily going to have time. So I'll tell you now. Tomorrow is the worst day in the world. In my infinite wisdom, when I decided how many days this was going to take, there's 2 days on the route which are 9 miles and 8.5 miles, and I thought, well, they're only short, we can amalgamate those together. Not realising that, having looked at the elevation map, that after 4 miles in tomorrow, we have to climb for 600 metres. Bearing in mind that Scafell Pike is 970, so we have to climb for 600 metres. It's a massive climb, and then down into Grasmere, and that's usually day 1. Now we've amalgamated the 2, because then we have to go on again to Patterdale, which is another 8 miles and a 790 metre climb, which is our highest point we're going to reach, a place called Kidsey Pike. So that's nearly as high as, well, 200 metres short of what Scafell Pike is. We're going to have to climb that after we've just climbed the other one on a 17-mile day. It's going to be horrific. It is honestly going to be fairly horrific. We're going to try and leave out about 6:30 in the morning, because it's going to take us forever and it's going to kill us. So this might be the last video log you ever see.